as an intern at Factor A 3 years ago, and since then climbed up the career ladder. She's 26 years old and is leading an editorial team with 27 people. When I asked her how she thinks her team would describe her, she said, disgustingly positive. She will explain to us why we have to transform our attitude when building a team. I'm excited to welcome her on stage, and I'm convinced there's a lot we can learn from her. Please welcome Lara.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Lara. I am 26 years old and I am head of a global editorial team at Factor A, the European market leader when it comes to boost your sales on Amazon. I started my career at Factor A 3 years ago as one of 2 interns when the company had 4 employees in total. Literally 0 Amazon experience, but the ambition to tackle the challenge. And that's what I did. Within these 3 years, I managed to build quite an expertise in the Amazon SEO field. But more importantly, I built an international team of 27 editors. However, I cannot take credit for all of that just by myself. It was possible because I built a team that I could rely on, and with that, helped me let us grow. It's not only me, it's the team. And that's the magic of it all. You don't have to have years of experience or a specific age. If I could get as far as I did with already 23 years and no experience, so can you. If you understand the importance of building a team correctly. And that's what I want to tell you today. There is no magic in building a team like that. But there are certain rules, at least for me, that I think can help you achieve that. So let's go back to the very beginning. I was an intern, still studying, 23 years old, when they asked me to become the team lead for the editorial team. The first feeling of shock was followed by a long moment full of insecurity. Shock, because I had no experience in building or managing a team. And also because no one would have ever seen me in a position like that, especially not myself. Insecurity, because there were so many questions running through my head. Being responsible for about 10 people at once, for all their questions, their problems, their mistakes, being responsible for everything that could go wrong, and also how to make sure that everyone would respect me as their team lead. It actually took me a few more moments until I started thinking in a different way. What if not? What if everything is going to turn out absolutely amazing? What if that's the greatest opportunity of my life? And also, how can you fail on something you didn't even try? So I decided to take the challenge and do it. I also decided that no matter what, I would give everything I could to make it work. And for me in that moment, make it work no matter what meant to ban all these negative and insecure thoughts from my head and stay strong for the team. And that leads us directly to my rule number 1 for building a great team. It's not only a never give up, it's a we will somehow make it work. And that's what I started with. Because of the Amazon SEO hype, it actually took us 3 more months to triple the size of my team. We grew in size and scope and started to work on all Amazon European marketplaces. So, Within months, I had to manage 35 projects and 17 colleagues in 5 different languages. Say hello to the first big challenge, because how could I still make everyone feel part of that editorial family without speaking their language? Luckily, I already decided on rule number 1, so here's what I came up with. First of all, I made sure to learn how to say, "Good morning, how are you?" in everyone's language. May sound like an empty gesture, but it makes them smile. I also started a morning routine, walking around, talking to everyone, asking about their day, see if there were any problems we needed to talk about, but also use these moments to say thank you for things done well. Another helpful thing was that I decided I don't want to be Lara and the editorial team. I wanted to be the editorial team. Again, sounds very basic, but here's the difference. I never say, "Hi XY, how is your project going? Did you already implemented the feedback? The customer unfortunately did not like the content you created." Instead, I replaced all the I's and U's with a simple we or our. "Hi XY, how is our project going? Did we already implemented the feedback? The customer unfortunately did not like the content we created." Sounds way less scary to say and to hear. Why? Because I'm responsible, so you guys can be free in what you're doing. It will be your success, but our mistake. And that was exactly the safety environment I needed to build the team further. And as Factor A grew further, I noticed something else. When it comes to clients, projects, and deadlines, there's a lot of stress being shifted from one person to the other. And that's when I realized that the most important job was to make sure that my team didn't feel that kind of pressure, at least not directly. No insecurity about work, no stress about external deadlines, and no anger from clients. And that leads us to rule number 2. Always protect the team. Make sure that everyone feels safe in their working environment. In order to follow that rule, I decided to let all communication pass through me. Which means that when we are working on projects, there was and is almost no communication between editors and project managers. Over the years, a lot of other teams members didn't like that approach. Some actually hated it. But that's okay. They don't have to like me for that. I just felt like my responsibility for the team was bigger than me feeling uncomfortable in confrontation with other managers. Otherwise, it would have felt like letting the team down, and that was not an option, thanks to rule number 1. And it works, especially in times where this wall of communication is most important, when it's busy and there's a lot of stress running around. Because imagine this. You are the editor working on 3 different projects for 3 different project managers, getting direct stress, insecurity, and anger from the client. It will be quite hard for you to decide which of them you are going to satisfy first, because you put their project first. Instead, they could put their pressure on me, and that was fine because I wasn't the one creating the content. I just had to make sure that everyone else could work with a straight mind. And with that, I have learned another very important lesson. The situation can be as stressful as possible, as long as I stay calm, friendly, relaxed, and ready to help. Everyone in the team will calm down as well. And of course, that's super, super hard sometimes. I'm not a robot. I just really want to put the team first. Keeping that in mind, it is easier to protect them. Especially because I can see it work. I've seen them staying longer without me asking, helping each other out, giving me honest feedback, and with all that, helping me, helping us grow. And as we grew, I just decided to do something else. Whenever it comes to difficult situations, mistakes that had to be discussed, negative feedback that had to be shared, I always ask myself first, how would I feel about that? What explanation would I need to really understand the problem to make sure that these mistakes won't happen again? And that brings us to rule number 3. Always ask yourself first, how would I feel if I was the editor? I know that I learn best if I can really understand the problem and find the solution by myself. So every time we come into a situation like that, I try to have them find the mistake, name the problem, and the solution. I also know that I work best if I feel like my work is appreciated. So I started to bring muffins for the ones staying longer with me in order to finish our projects. I never left before we finished, be there just to show I was there. And I started to ask the managing directors to give direct feedback to editors whenever they have heard something good about our work. One and a half years after starting creating the team, I found us more or less settled. Everyone knew what to do and how and when. Team spirit was great. And everything was more or less going really good. And then Christmas happened, which turned out to be the hardest challenge that we had to face so far. But also when I realized that my rules became culture. We grew from 17 to 34 people in 2 months. Once I finished training new people, the next one were already waiting. We had so many projects going on. Even with this growth, it was almost undoable. And you may understand how thankful I was for rule number 1, which just kept me, and for that reason, the whole team going. I have seen them staying longer without me asking, offer to work from weekends, jumping in for each other when I wasn't there to answer questions, going from project to project, and never complaining. And somehow, we survived that amount of work and finished it. And it made me realize what you can achieve with a team like that. A team that I have never been more thankful about. I am even more proud to say that since then, the team spirit and the energy that we are having did not change at all, although a lot of things did. And this taught me one thing. Having a team like that in my back, there will be no challenge I won't be able to handle, like stand here today. And that feels pretty amazing. And here's what I have found out on my journey. If you want to build a team and be a team, think about what they want. Protect each other and make it happen somehow. These rules work for me, and maybe they will work for you as well. Feel free to take them and make them your own. If you do so and create a team like that, it will take you to the moon. I promise. Thank you. Mm-hmm.